you guys, what are you doing here today? What's going on? With that being said, we all do have different reasons to be here today, and this is a happy day. And so it's happy for a couple of reasons. The first reason that I think that this is such a happy day is it's a fulfillment of a promise and the answer to a commitment made, the end of a project. And that's very important. And I think what you're going to find when you go inside here today is it's a first-class project. The second reason why we're here today, and I think the foremost reason why we're here today, is we're here to honor a man and his legacy, in his collection, in his place as a truly unique and special individual in Somerset County. We all love this county, and Mr. Lawrence Burgess loved this county. And as a result, he spent a great deal of his life collecting things, objects, that kind of told the story of what life was like in this county way back when. And so what this exhibit does today is it takes, as we christen this, the Burgess Rural Living Center, it takes that word living, right, and it gives it life, because this is what this is all about, is that his memory and his accomplishments, they'll live forever. At this time, we have Mr. Grayson Middleton from the governor's office, and he has a proclamation to give here today. Grayson, thanks so much.
Thank you. I just want to say it's so impressive to see this project that came from such humble origins come to fruition. And I think it's particularly timely for something like this, as so many, not only Americans, but also Eastern Shore residents are more and more removed from the values and heritage of rural life. So I congratulate you all today on this. And I'll read the citation that the governor has prepared for you, who, by the way, is very sorry he couldn't be here. Governor of the State of Maryland to Burgess Rural Living Center, greetings. Be it known that on behalf of the citizens of the state, in recognition of a tribute to honor the openings of the Burgess Rural Living Center, with congratulations on this special milestone celebrating your commitment to providing exceptional customer service to the community, and as the people of Maryland join in expressing our great respect and sincere best wishes for the future. We are pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation. It is dated the 20th of April, and it is signed by the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the secretary of state. And if I could please have Clint and Star up here.
At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Starwhite, Mr. Lawrence Burgess' daughter, to please come up and say a few words. Star.
It is so wonderful to see everybody here today. We're overwhelmed, really, of all that has transpired here in the last year and a half. I want to introduce my family really quick. My husband in the front row, Morris White, he was very instrumental in helping my dad put everything into the museum. My son, Dean, and my other son, David, who drove from Richmond this morning to be here with us. My older sister, June Bell, her daughter, Krista Tull, and her husband, Greg, and daughter, Kayla, all sitting over there. Her younger daughter, Patty Butler, and her husband, Alan. And my mom and dad's very favorite niece in the whole world, Mary Sue Gladden, wherever she is, her husband, Gordon, and their son, David. And they're all here today, so thank you so much for coming. When Mr. Sterling asked me if I wanted to speak, I said, well, I'm not a public speaker, but when you give me a topic that I love, I could probably talk about my mom and dad for a long time, but I'm not going to do that today. Just want to give you a brief history of how this all came about. My dad was born in a small town in Pennsylvania, Glenmore. It was about 30 miles from Lancaster. And my mom was a Somerset County girl, born and raised at Hudson's Corner. Her dad was Peter Hudson, who had the original store at Hudson's Corner. They were married during the Depression, and they lived in Philadelphia for 9 years after they were married. Now, most people that knew my dad knew him as a storekeeper and a farmer and a poultry grower. What most people did not know about my dad that I love to tell people that didn't know was that while they were in Philadelphia, my dad went to Drexel Institute of Technology and graduated with a degree in electrical engineering. And that's why he could make anything work. If he went somewhere and bought something that didn't work, he could make it work when he got home. So, my dad had a vision. Don't know why, but he did. And his desire was to show our children of today how their parents and grandparents lived 100 years ago. And he wanted them to know that their parents and grandparents didn't have an easy life back then. They didn't have cars. They had horse and buggies. You know, they didn't have modern appliances. They had lamplight, no electricity. So when my mom and dad retired, they started going to sales and auctions. And every Wednesday morning, Mom would pack a picnic lunch and they would hop in the truck and head to Crumpton, which was, I don't know if any of you know Crumpton, but they had gigantic sales up there. And Dad would come home and his pickup truck would be loaded to the brim with boxes and things that they had bought. Now the family lovingly called this junk, but my dad thought that everything he purchased was a treasure and it all went into the museum. So they went to all these local auctions and they amassed all of this stuff, and every outbuilding around our house was full. And Dad wanted to find a place that he could display this so, you know, everybody could see. Well, he had a 3-story chicken house that just happened to be empty at the time. So he thought, okay, I'll convert this chicken house and I'll have room to display all of these items. So that's what he did. He took the first 2 floors of this huge chicken house and he filled it to the brim with every item that he had collected. And when he got that exactly the way he wanted it, he opened it to the public. And that was the Burgess Early Americana Museum. And from that day forward, my dad's dreams were fulfilled because he had busloads of children from the local schools that came through. He had tour buses from Ocean City on the way to Smith Island that stopped there every week. And he was in his glory taking people through this museum, telling them where he got these things, how they worked. He even had a treadmill that was powered by a goat. I mean, he had some wonderful things in that museum that we're so sorry not. He had so much horse-drawn equipment. He even had a horse-drawn purse in the museum. So anyway, as my son reminded me the other night, Dad was thrilled touring people through the museum. We're not sure that my mom was as thrilled, as she was the one that did the organizing, and my son said, Mom, don't you remember when she used to take the little feather duster and walk up and down the aisles and try to get the dust off of everything, which was really impossible for her to do. So anyway, that's the story. They had many wonderful years of working. It probably started out as a hobby, but it was their passion, working there and touring people through there. So my dad was born on April the 27th, 1906, so he's got a birthday coming soon. And he passed away on Easter Sunday morning, 23 years ago. He was 93. Choke up. I'm just not. My mom passed less than 2 years after he did. So you couldn't have picked a better time to have this celebration than now. With his birthday ahead of us and Easter behind us, knowing that my dad's desires are going to come to fruition for a long time with the Burgess Rural Living Center. Thank you all so much.
That what she said is about the most poignant. There's not a person among us who's not experienced that there's somebody out there that we wish was around us today, if not several people, right? And we're all better. We're all better for those people being in our lives. So we're happy to be able to make this tribute and make this last today. So here's some, we're going to close, we're going to cut this ribbon.
Yeah,
One,
where's Julie? Julie,
two,
I'm here. Hold it, Julie.
3, there we go. Hey!